If there was a band that you had never listened to, like somebody you find out somebody's never listened to this band, and you would feel like the feeling, it's like if you don't listen to this band, like you've missed out, like your life is not as full of an experience because you have not listened to this band. What band would that be?
You're gonna hate this answer. So my recommendation is gonna depend on the person. If you're a beach loving kind of person and you haven't heard Zach Brown Band, then you're missing out on life.
I thought you would say the Beach Boys.
I don't listen to any music older than like 1990.
So then I would say, like, generally you're missing out on a lot.
I'm not.
You are. You have.
What would you say is a band that has single-handedly formed your
Nickelback.
taste in music?
Yeah. I would say The Who, probably. The Who or the Beatles would be the two older bands, older than you are. So
couldn't tell you anything about it.
And I think the important, like, the why behind that, if you like, is because that American, or rock and roll in general, not American, because both those bands are from England. It's a relatively newer kind of art form, and so much that we listen.
Old, dude.
It depends on how you describe.
Like older than my parents.
Right. And so much of what we listen to today is informed by some of the choices that, Pete Townsend made as a writer, and that Lennon McCartney or any of those older guys, like that older generation, did. So I think that your experience in life isn't as full if you haven't listened to Abbey Road or Quadrophenia.
Yeah, I haven't.
And that might be some judgy.
I've like heard some songs, but I don't think I've ever like just sat down and listened to the album.
We could have a music appreciation day together.
I would.
And so what I have to do as a
That just
mature
changed
human is I have to become willing, with palms open to receive, and not just say my way is the right way.
Right. Appreciate that about you.
Mm-hmm. But everything inside me is like, that's kind of BS. And like,
what?
Well, the Beatles have done more for music than Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, I'm not here to argue that or to say that they haven't, but
You're just saying you're bringing Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
See, I got to get off my defensive part.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back off, dude.
I know. Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar's done more for me than the Beatles have.
Wow. Get him, Matt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Name 5 Kendrick Lamar albums.
Albums?
Yeah.
You've got Good Kid, Mad City. You have the new one, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. You have, oh my goodness. You put me on the spot.
So you have 2.
I could tell you the songs that are on it, but I couldn't tell you what the album
Could you
name
tell
is.
me? Could you tell me at least 2 Beatles albums?
Abbey Road, Yellow.
Yellow?
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club.
Keep going. You got more.
There's got to be a best of.
Well, yes. Yeah. Revolver.
Actually,
Let It
I
Be.
would change my answer from Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. Cool.
This is highly controversial, possibly. Kanye West, for sure.
Okay. A specific album?
Graduation, honestly.
Yeah. I think that from a hip hop standpoint, and I don't have a huge hip hop like canon, but the first album that I really got into that was straight like hip hop was probably Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper.
Mm.
And I think that was informed because I was around other people that were listening to it at the time. But I love that album.
I think that album is incredible. I think Chance has not performed up to that level since then.
I mean,
he wasn't able to follow it up.
It's hard.
It is.
When you have something, it's like, okay, who's the band for you? If I don't listen to this band, according to drummer Matt, my experience as a human being is not as full as it could be.
I don't know. I don't have a band. The album that came to mind was Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yep. That would be my number 2. Kanye.
If you haven't listened to that. That was the first. So Kate moved here,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing trips 3.5 hours to, and then 3.5 hours back.
Mm-hmm.
And that album was the first album I listened to of the entire hip hop.
Which is interesting because you listened to it like 10 years after it came out.
Right. I like just found out about him.
Right. About Kanye West?
I knew who he was.
Right.
But I'd never known anything about his music or anything.
Got it.
And started with that album straight through. And since then, he's been my number 1 artist on Spotify the last 2 years before the last one.
What was last year?
Kendrick Lamar.
Wow.
Really?
We didn't even plan that.